Today is part number one of what it actually takes to conquer binge eating sustainably in the most effective, efficient way. Because let's be honest, you are not here for a quick fix. You are not here to just have a binge free week or a binge free month. Like, you are here to conquer binge eating for good. You are here to stop binge eating for the rest of your life. And beyond that, you want to show yourself what you're actually really capable of. You want to be present in your life. You want to have a better relationship with your kids, a better relationship with your partner. You want to feel more calm throughout the day. And there are certain steps that you need to take to get there. And today is going to be part one. So the first part, you need to eliminate your binge urges. If you want to stop your binge eating, you need to eliminate your urges. And what I mean by that is you need to stop giving into your urges. I know that through years of dieting, you have developed these strong urges, right? Through years of past diets that have told you can't eat after this time, only eat these foods. Like, all the restriction has led you to have these strong urges to binge. And when you experience these strong urges to binge, it feels like you don't have a choice but to give in. And there's a part of you that's like, I don't want to. I want to stop my binge eating. But then there's also another part of you that's like, just one last time. There's also another part of you that's like, but this is the only way that I'm going to experience comfort, relief, and pleasure. That's your binge brain speaking. Your binge brain is going to tell you, you have to give in. It's uncomfortable. You can't continue going on with your work day. You need to give in. That's the only way you're going to experience comfort. But every single time that you give into your urge, you are making your urge more intense. Every time that you give into your urge, you are further ingraining this habit of binge eating into your brain. And it makes it that much more challenging for you to stop your binges, because when you continuously have urges pop up, over and over and over again, and they become stronger over time, of course, it's going to be more challenging to not give in. Again, if you think back to your journey, I'm sure you probably recognize, like, wow, like at the beginning, I was able to not give in a few times, but now it just feels like I don't have any willpower. And it's not about willpower, but it feels like that. It feels like I don't have a choice but to give in. And maybe a few months ago, you were able to not give in. But now it's like, I don't have a choice. Like, the urges are so strong, they're so demanding. And that's because you're intensifying them every time that you give in. Now, on the positive side, you can reprogram your brain. You can break out of these cycles. Every single time that you don't give in, you are weakening the neural pathways in your brain. Every single time that you don't give in, your urges are becoming less intense. It takes one urge at a time. So if you don't give in to a strong urge today, and you let the urge throw its tantrum, you let the urge do its thing, you ride the wave of the discomfort, you sit in the discomfort, you remind yourself that I am way more powerful over my urges. You choose to not give in. You're like, this is not who I am. 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 I can do hard and challenging things. You choose to not give in. Guess what? The next urge you experience is going to be less intense. And then guess what? It's going to be easier for you to not give into that urge. And then the next urge that you feel, it's going to become even less intense. And the next urge to binge is going to become less intense. And eventually, when you stay consistent with this, eventually you no longer feel a single urge to binge. Eventually, your urges stop popping up. But you have to go through that discomfort. Everybody wants comfort. Everybody wants to eliminate their urges. Everybody wants to become binge free. But you need to practice sitting in the discomfort when the urge to binge comes on and say, I'm going to look at this like it is an itchy mosquito bite. If you've ever had an itchy mosquito bite and you say to yourself, it's so itchy and you feel like you can't even focus on anything else, you're like, I just need to scratch the itchy mosquito bite. You're like, I'm just going to scratch it a little bit. What happens when you start scratching your itchy mosquito bite? You start scratching it, and then all of a sudden it feels like you can't stop. You're like, oh, I just have to scratch it one more time. And you don't just stop after one scratch. You continue scratching for the rest of the night. It's the same thing with an urge. You might say, but I'm just going to give in. Just one cookie. I'm just going to give in. And what ends up happening as soon as you give in, the floodgates open. And next thing you know, you're spiraling out of control. So you are way more powerful over your urges. You are in the driver's seat, not your urges. You have more control than you think. And is it going to feel uncomfortable? Absolutely. But it's going to become more comfortable over time. The more times that you don't give into your urges, the less intense your urges are going to become. And when you actually stay consistent with this, your urges will stop popping up. And the best part is you don't have to try to not give in anymore. I use this process, and now I don't have to try to not give in. I don't have urges anymore. I can be baking. I can be home alone. I was just in Costa Rica at the end of December. I was in Florida in March. I was traveling. And it doesn't matter if I'm traveling. It doesn't matter if I'm home alone or I'm baking or I'm at a social event. I do not have urges. So I don't have to try to not give in. They don't pop up anymore. So your urges will not only become less intense over time, the more you actually stop giving into them, they eventually will stop popping up. And you don't have to try really hard to not give in. You won't feel the urge anymore. This is one piece of the puzzle. Being able to eliminate your urges will set you free because you're continuing to binge because you're continuing to tell yourself just one more time. You're continuing to binge because you tell yourself, oh, but like it's been a long day at work. So like just like this one evening, and then I promise like tomorrow I won't. But it's always one more. But it's always just this one urge. No, but tomorrow's going to be better. And that is just you further ingraining this habit into your brain. So again, is it uncomfortable when the urge to binge comes on? Yes. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I am saying it's going to become easier when you don't give in. Think about anything you do in life. It's like the first time you do something, it's challenging, right? It's like the first time as a little kid, as you maybe tried riding a bike without your training wheels on, you're like wobbly, you're shaking, maybe you fell down, you got to come back up. It's challenging. But you continue riding the bike, and then you're like, it feels effortless. You don't need the freaking training wheels. You're like, look, man, no hands. Like, I can do this. Because through repetition, everything becomes easier. Through repetition of you not acting on your next urge, the next urge is going to become that much easier for you to not give into. And then being able to be surrounded around peanut butter, granola, your favorite foods, chocolate, whatever it is, you won't have an urge. And that is actually freedom. Freedom is not managing your urges and like trying to not give in and then not giving in. Freedom is I no longer feel an urge to binge. That's actual freedom. I thought that I had freedom at the beginning because I was practicing not giving it in, but like they were still popping up. That's not freedom. Complete freedom is your urges no longer pop up. Complete freedom is you have so much confidence that you know that you will never binge again. Complete freedom is that it doesn't matter if you're home alone. you won't binge. Complete freedom is you can literally be at a buffet, an all-inclusive restaurant, and easily stop when you're full, not even have a thought to binge when you get home. That is complete freedom. Freedom is not managing your urges, having less urges. Freedom is you no longer have an urge. They are gone. You've eliminated them for good because you chose to sit in the discomfort. And because you chose to sit in the discomfort, now you have comfort for the rest of your life, no longer binging, no longer having binge urges. That is actual freedom. That's actual complete freedom. Because when you don't have urges, you can actually be working and be present. You can be on date night with your husband and actually be paying attention to what he's actually saying, not be feeling like I just need to go home and binge. You're less snappy. You're less irritable. You're more calm. You're more relaxed throughout the day. You're not on high alert all the time. I remember when I had urges and I'd be driving home from work. I swear to God, I didn't even know how I got home because I was so focused on like, what am I going to eat? I would like rush home. I'd like drop my bags and I'm like, I need to go and eat because the urge felt demanding. Now it's like I drive with the windows down. My days are so calm because I don't have urges anymore. And you will be able to experience that as well too. If I've used this process and didn't just stop binge eating. I have not had a single urge to binge in 5 years. One of my clients messaged me and she said was it 410 days? Let's see. She said, she literally just messaged me this morning, 401 days without a binge or overeating. 401 days. That's over a year of her living her life. She's been traveling a lot. She's more present. She's speaking more kindly to herself. She's more gentle to herself. She loves herself more. Like this is what can happen for you as well too when you practice not giving in. So this is the first step. I'm going to walk you through the full step process, but this is the first piece. This is the first piece. Because if you are speaking more kindly to yourself, but you're still giving in, your urges are still going to pop up. You can tell yourself, like, I love my body. Like, I'm more confident. But if you're still giving into your urges, you're still going to be binging. So this is a really, really important step. If you want to sustainably conquer binge eating, you need to practice not giving into your urges. Sit in the discomfort. Know that comfort is on the other side. Every urge that you don't give into is making the next urge less intense. And you do this over and over and over again, and eventually your urges stop popping up. So this is part one. This is part number one. You need to practice this. This is foundational. This is part of my root and rewire process that I teach. If you want to stop feeling the urge to binge, you have to practice not giving in. One urge at a time, one urge at a time, one urge at a time. So this is part one. Stay tuned for part two of how to sustainably conquer binge eating for good.